The meeting is being recorded.
School board meeting order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Any visitors? I did not have any requests to speak. Motion to approve the agenda with revised.
Second.
Motion from the Dwayne, second from Dale. Any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Gotta go. Oh, that's right. Yep, that got it. I forgot already. Wendy,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
and Lloyd, so yes. Yeah, right off the bat. Okay, Cobra Bride.
All right, we had our last graduate ceremony last Friday. And I'll just read through those names there. We had Rory Fate, kindergarten, Kennedy Gibbons, Asher Jensen, Stella Kispert, Griffin Saxton, Connor Schleisner, Maverick Kubat, Brooklyn Rudisil, Alex Ortiz, Damian Kazenbach, Naomi Ledak, Romina, Medina, and Abby Lacey and Tavin Radke. Talking with the administrators, I actually wasn't there because I had a dentist appointment, but it was the most attended ceremony we've had yet, and great to see all the kids were there. Staff are there, so it's great to see that is a continuing to grow as an event. So just thanks to the administrators for the work that they put into making that such a neat opportunity to recognize students.
That's, motion to approve consent agenda.
So
I'll second.
Motion from Jim, second from Rebecca.
Wendy.
Oh, Wendy, sorry. Roll call. Wendy,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Lloyd also yes. Okay, new business. Discuss and approve preschool class schedule and handbook.
Yeah, I was talking to Christy. We haven't done this in a while, so I asked her to come. If you want to
Sure, we
just speak to any of the changes or updates that.
Sure. So Diana Ipers is.
Yeah,
everyone
then
here?
the microphone, that way we can hear you.
But I'm loud naturally. Okay, so Diana Ipers is retiring and we have hired Amanda Vermilia to take her place. In doing so, we also have reorganized a bit with duties. Before Diana did the coordinator job and she did all of these jobs. And so we have taken myself, Mindy Knudsen, and Amanda Vermilia, and we have started to spread it out a bit as far as who's doing what. With that seemed like a very good time just to refresh our handbook since we were making a few little changes as to who's doing what. So I sent a copy. Do you guys have a copy? Oh, you do?
Mhm.
Okay, so I just was going to, we really didn't make any broad sweeping changes. We just refreshed some of it. Sometimes just as a little bit of like modernizing wording and things that we're doing, but the first thing that we worked on was the weather related closures. We're keeping the same policy. It's just, it was more of like a verbal thing or an email thing that we sent to parents. And this time we just like really put it in writing for parents to refer back to. And basically it's whatever the rest of the school's doing, we're doing. With the one exception, if AM preschool, let's say AM preschool is 2 hours late, we don't have afternoon preschool. There's multiple reasons for this. Number one is, you can imagine, the busing situation becomes very difficult when you're bringing all the kids in here at 10 and we're supposed to be going and doing a preschool route about 10:30. Second, it throws off the curriculum, right? So then like the morning kids are missing curriculum. What do you do with the afternoon kids? Do you just let them play all afternoon and then pick up curriculum the next time? Or do you just keep everybody on the same curriculum calendar? So this is what we've been doing for a couple of years. We just put it in writing so that parents could refer back to it. We are trying something new under snacks. We will provide a snack cart. This way, I already go to Sam's Club once a month anyways for childcare. So we can get healthy, pre-portioned snacks so that we do not have to worry about what is coming. No longer have to worry if a bag of Peeps are coming for snack time. Maybe veggie straws instead. So it also portions and that sort of thing. So we are just adding our own snack cart. And we just rolled in there, we're using the registration fee to cover that. Then the next thing we changed was the Triton school bus policy. This is simply, I've talked to Shane and we've worked out an arrangement where for these preschoolers to go on the bus after school, they have to have a bus buddy. They can't just get on a bus and be bused to Claremont or be bused to West Concord or, so they have to have someone who sits on the bus with them and make sure they get off at the correct stop and goes with them. That's always how we've done it. The problem is that when it's really cold out in the middle of winter, you want to get that kid on the bus. Well, what if the bus buddy isn't there? So our solution has come to, Shane has approved that teachers, let's say the bus buddy is a third grader. The third grade teacher can release that child just, a couple minutes early to come down to the preschool room and pick up the preschooler at the preschool room to take the child to the bus with them, because now the bus driver knows that the child is with the bus buddy. If the bus buddy does not pick up at, let's say, Mrs. Knutsen's class, she knows not to put the child on the bus and to call a phone number and say, I'm sorry, your child does not have assistance. So that was something that we have added that I think is going to be very helpful.
How often does that happen? Like somebody gets sick during the day or what?
Not very often, because usually they then have someone else, they know of someone else,
Okay,
usually,
so they have backup.
right. But it's just that those rare instances where the bus buddy goes home sick. We can't, let's say the bus buddy goes home sick at 1:30. We can't put that preschooler in a bus without a backup. We need to talk to the parent and find out. Yeah.
It's a second question.
Yeah, it's all about safety. It very rarely does that happen where we,
It happened once this year, but I just waited when they didn't show up. I went in and called the parent.
Yeah.
So, once.
Yeah. The only other thing is under potty training. This is a policy we've always, once again, kind of kept, but we put it in writing. It's always been a situation where it's really not appropriate to start preschool until you're potty trained. Okay. Otherwise we would just be changing diapers the whole time. But we realize that they are fresh to this sort of thing. And we realize that accidents are going to happen. So we've always advised that they have clean clothes, like a bag with a change of clothes. But what we have added on here is after the third accident, we will talk to the parent and we will say, your child might need a little bit of a refresher, need a little bit, to work on this at home. we're not gonna give up their preschool spot. The preschool spot stays open for them, but we're gonna have you keep them home for a while until we get this a little bit more regularly under control, and then when it seems as though, you know, we're trained, then they can come right back. Cause it happens. You know? So
Is that for all the classes?
for a preschool,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm. It'd be the same with childcare too, but
Yeah, that's
usually
fine.
by 4, we're okay,
Mhm.
usually. There's days.
I have 7 in diapers.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, we would do nothing but change diapers, so, yeah. So those are just kind of the little finer details. Most of it were items that we always did. We just felt like it was time to maybe put it in writing a little bit better. The snack card is new. And Shane helping me out with the bus buddy is new. So those are like my 2 real changes.
Any questions for Christie?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We were gonna approve that.
Motion or, yeah, entertain a motion for 7.1.
I so move.
Second.
Motion from Rebecca, second from Dale. Any questions? Okay, Wendy, Rebecca,
Yes.
Brian,
yes,
Jim,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Wade, yes. Motion passes. Let's see, approve purchase of bus.
This is the bus I talked about at the study session. It would be another one of the short bus that Dave talked about. This would be using the money that was set aside, so I just wanted to have board action to make sure that you're good with that. Because it was designated at one point, so in order to do this, I wanted to have your approval.
Make motion to approve 7.1.
7.2.
Sorry.
Motion from Dale, second from Jim for 7.2. Any questions, comments? Wendy,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Ryan,
The screen is blank. Go ahead.
Jim,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes, also. Okay. 7.3, discuss and approve payment to Zed.
This would be using that, also using that set aside to pay the. So we don't have to use general fund money to pay Zed for the lease levy this year, and then in 2 years. Our middle school lease levy will be paid off, and then we will be able to pay it entirely from the lease levy.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion from Dwayne, second from Wendy. For 7.3, any questions, comments? Okay, Wendy,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Brian? You still,
Mhm.
Jim, Dale,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes.
There, I just let it back in. Should be good again.
Brian? We're voting on payment to Zed. Brian?
You're on mute yet, Brian.
I'm back. Sorry,
Okay. Brian, we're voting on the payment to Zed. You okay?
yes,
Okay, enrollment update.
Oops, I was having a couple here. Yeah. Just wanted to kind of show the good news is it's not gone down as much as it has in the past. We're down 5 students from the beginning of the year overall, and that would be that number on the top right quadrant. For K-12, we started with 947, we're currently at 942. If you use the number with early childhood, preschool, and all students and whatnot, we're actually about the same because we added a student in Z. So we're at 108, whereas we were at 1,008. Beginning of the year, we were 1,009. So we stayed the same in regard to if you use the preschool numbers. So the preschool numbers have actually gone up, whereas the 6K-12 number, we've lost 5. And if you compare that to last year, that would be that bottom quadrant. Last year at this time, we were at 946 for K-12. This year, we're at 942. So only down 4 from where we were last year at this point, which is better than it has been. So.
And we're up from last quarter.
Yes. Because we were as low as 934. So we're up a few students. Any questions on enrollment? All right.
Student council report.
All right, so thank you for having me. On March 30th, we had the annual pancake breakfast that I told you guys about. And we raised $684, which has been donated to the Dodge County Relay for Life. So big success with that one as usual. Currently, our student council has been in collaboration with Sarah Palmer, who is a violence prevention coordinator from the local victim services branch. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and we have hung up blue ribbons on bulletin boards and pillars around the school, similar to the ones that you will see here in the library. We have been sharing information. We are using these to spread awareness, and we've been sharing information with students and staff on healthy ways to address this issue and to help those who need support. Looking forward, we plan on celebrating Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week in the high school, which takes place the first week of May. We plan on hosting a breakfast meal for high school teachers and staff that Monday 2-hour late start before school. We also plan on sharing gifts and giving students an opportunity during lunch to write thank you notes to their teachers and other staff members for all that they help us with. So yeah, that's kind of all we got going on, but do you guys have any questions for me? Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jude.
Said report. Well, I really don't have anything. Our meeting's Thursday, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything from yours or not?
No, we same as last week, we haven't met again since study session, so just finishing up the joint powers agreement and cleaning up language with that. And remember, there's bylaws and then there's a joint powers agreement. And we want to make sure that we kind of get the bylaws taken care of as well. So when we vote, it will be voting on that whole package.
Oh. The activity, the Z activity day is May 5th, that gas.
Yep.
Everybody's interested. That is a fun thing to go to. They really. Kids have fun.
Hope we don't have a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in going to that Z activity day, I would encourage you to come to Triton first, because we do a pretty cool send off for our students, including the band this year.
When they have a band there, when they, yeah. Huh. AD report.
Good evening, everybody. We are underway with our spring season, as everybody knows. That last week was just an awesome week for events around Triton. Baseball games, softball games. We hosted a track meet on Friday. That was beautiful weather, and then the golf team also had a meet on Saturday in Hayfield. And so it was fun to see everybody be able to get out and experience it. And then today happened, right? Where we're back inside and moving practices around. And then, you look at the end of the week and we got some more rain coming in. So, day by day, that's kind of how we've been taking it. But our coaches have been doing an awesome job of just rolling with the punches and kind of going with it and figuring out ways to support each other and make sure that they can get the best that they possibly can. The next thing that I just wanted to make sure that we touched on is just the guys and dolls performance. It was fantastic. I don't know, my favorite number was Sit Down and Rock in the Boat. If anybody saw it, I thought it was just really cool when you have, that many students on stage. I know the picture doesn't really do it justice, but there's close to like 35 students on the stage at one time in one small little area. And when it's cool for me to see everybody be in sync and be on the same page with that and just show that they really enjoy to do those things. The next thing I want to make sure we recognize is just Jude Gussie with being a finalist for the AAA award, the State High School League. I had the honor of being able to eat lunch with Jude and a few of his family members up there when he was recognized. And it was awesome to see one of our students just put a lot of time and effort into being involved in the arts, academics, and athletics, be recognized on that grand scale. And it's pretty cool to be able to see a person who we know personally up there being recognized as one of the 8 finalists. And so congratulations again, Jude. That's a big honor, right? One of the last things on this slide is just the FCCLA Kids Carnival was held on the 1st of April. And it's just always fun to see the pictures of all the kids running around with all the different activities that they have with that. And so Miss McMahon did an awesome job with the FCCLA group on that one for sure. The next slide just talks more about our FCCLA group, and they attended the state conference. So once again, we had 18 students participate in the conference. 15 of those students earned a national conference, either as in an individual competition or as part of a group. And 3 students or 3 groups took first place. So Kalina Dudley took first place in the Tech and Train competition. Chase Landsteiner, Aiden Ronkin, and Daniel Villegas did a presentation on the chapter of service, or how much basically they did a presentation on what all our Triton chapter did throughout the year. And it's pretty cool to kind of see them kind of encapsulate everything that had been done. And then Diego Alvaro Castillo, Lily Maldonado, and Litany Peterson took first place in the promoting and publicizing FCCLA, and they've definitely done that with this group. If you talk about a group that's kind of taken off and kind of really grown throughout the year, it's been our FCCLA group. So another shout out to Miss McMahon with this state performance.
Where's the national at?
The national one is in Denver, Colorado. And so we're kind of organizing our trip out there to pitch it to the families for them to decide whether they want to go or not.
When might that be?
It's July 2nd to July 6th.
July 2nd.
Is that a question?
Did you have a question? Okay.
Yeah, perfect. The last slide that I just wanted to touch on is that we received a grant from the Minnesota State High School League Foundation, where we received $5,000 to go towards getting a keynote speaker to come in and talk about the R factor. And this group is called Focus 3, and they basically have a bunch of mindset trainings and common community building pieces that you can put together to kind of link together your activities, programs, and things like that, or for a school with it as well. And so in the fall, we'll have a keynote speech from one of their lead technicians that will come in and talk about the R factor disciplines. And basically what the R factor disciplines are is it's the response that you can choose to give when you're faced with a certain event. So they have this formula, which is on the left-hand side, E plus R equals O, or your event plus your response equals the outcome that you get. And we're not in control of the event, and we can't control, and we have a little bit of control of the outcome, but what we do have a control of is the response. And so basically they've broken it down into 6 responses that you can have into each and every situation, where you can pick one of those 6 responses to improve your outcome to make it the best that it possibly can be. And so this is kind of going to be what we hope is kind of the link to every single program, so we can kind of have some common language between them, so that when somebody's in our student council group, that we can use some language when they're referring to a response that they need in a certain situation in student council and on the football field at the same time, so we can talk in a similar way. And so it'll be kind of cool just to see how we can implement that along with some other culture building stuff across our activities programs here coming up. So I'm excited for that. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. Any questions? All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Principals report.
Hello, everybody. As Mr. Black mentioned, it was nice to get outside with the elementary school last year, only to have inside recess this morning and a lot of ice around, but wanted to highlight a few things. It is a busy time in elementary school in April and May. The bottom left picture is our traveling art show. Those are some of our students that participated in it. They did an outstanding job, and I wanted to thank Mrs. Dallenbach for the ongoing great job she does in our arts in the elementary school. The upper left-hand picture, we just completed our 2-week roller skating unit. We had a broken finger, but no broken arms or legs. So we got out pretty unscathed with our roller skating, and Mr. Holla and Mrs. Bung wanted to thank the school board along with the team parent group that provided some money for the students to be able to skate. And we didn't ask for any money from the students. So it was $12 per student for the skating unit. We had that covered through donations. So that was awesome to see. And on the right, Trade hosted the ZED Science Fair last Friday. And I wanted to thank a couple people for that. First and foremost, Alex Leader. In the past, when many of your kids came through, if I remember correctly, it was the whole 4th grade participating in the science fair. Then a few certain individuals were selected to go to the ZED Science Fair. And we saw some inequities throughout that process. Basically, if your parents were heavily involved, you might have an outstanding science fair project. If your parents weren't very involved, you might not have a very nice science fair, but you still stand in front of a blank piece of paper. Mr. Leader took the program, and we did it as an enrichment program after school, where Mr. Leader was that caring adult working with the students. We had 11 individuals that participated. They all went to the ZED Science Fair, and all of them earned a ribbon. Matter of fact, at 11, we had 9 blue ribbons, I think, Mr. Anderson, which is the top prize. We had one person score a perfect 100. And then we also had a white ribbon and a red ribbon, which is a little bit lower, but 9 out of 11 got the top honor. Also, Mr. Anderson had his hands involved in the science fair, overseeing our gifted and talented program. So that was one example of enrichment that we want to continue to provide for our students on a yearly basis. And Mr. Leader wants to do it the same way next year, and hopefully we grow that number from 11 to a larger number. So in addition to the science fair, as we remember it, since we hosted it in our PAC, there was a speaker from Oxbow. That was in the wrestling room down there, was a speaker from Oxbow, and they had another keynote speaker in the PAC. So the students had 3 areas that they presented their science fair, and then they did some learning. It was a great afternoon last Friday at Triton, showing off our facilities and having a great ZED Science Fair. All right, so I talked about science fair, talked about roller skating. Tomorrow marks the kickoff of our testing season in elementary school. We will begin with the reading test tomorrow. We'll continue that reading test on Wednesday. Next week, we'll do the math tests, and our 5th graders will take the science test that first week of May. You've heard me tell you many times that our school is a lot more than a test score, and our students are a lot more than a test score themselves. But it is our responsibility to provide the most perfect testing environment for them tomorrow and on Wednesday, and then next week, and repeat it that final week. We are looking forward to improvements on all of our test scores, but I'll always stand in front of you and say that our students and our staff are a lot more than one test score. But with that being said, our aim is to continue to grow academically. Tomorrow night is our kindergarten roundup. As of right now, we have 39 kids signed up for kindergarten next year. And talking to Mrs. Eipers, who's been through a lot of kindergarten roundups, she assures me that we'll get to that 55 or 60 number. But I don't want to stand here saying that we're going to have 85 kindergartners next year, because the census, everything that we're looking at is showing us that we're most realistically going to be around that 55 or 60 number. 55 is a tough number, because it's that, are you 2 sections or 3 sections? So I'll continue to update Mr. Schlichting, and he'll update all of you on where we're at for those numbers. We are planning right now for 3 sections of kindergarten. Hopefully we have enough kids to make that happen. As Mrs. Faber talked about Amanda Vermillion going into preschool, we did slide Stacy Ullum, who was a high school art teacher, into the 3rd kindergarten position. So we are set to have 60 kids or 64 kids, hopefully. But I just want to let you know, as of right now, that number is 39. This week also our math masters with Mrs. Another enrichment opportunity for our students. And they're coming off of very successful math masters last year where we had individual winners and team winners. It was a great experience that takes place at Austin High School. And that'll be this week on April 20th. Also on April 20th, if you got some time available in the evening, we have a 2nd and 4th grade concert at 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the PAC. And then on May 8th, we'll continue our concert string with 1st and 3rd grade. I didn't put it up there, but May 11th will be our 5th grade band and choir concert. May 9th is our e-learning day. And I went a little bit too long, so are there any questions for me? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Johnson?
All right. Hi, everybody. So for middle school, things, profile the graduate, Mr. Schlichting already talked about that and showed the students that received that award. So our science department selected our students for work ethic and communication. So those students are shown there. We also recognized our Cobra with Character award winners. So every quarter we select 2 students per grade nominated by teachers. So it's hard to see in the picture there, but the students that were selected was 6th grade Olivia Shetman and Kimber Sanson, 7th grade Avery Dahl and Tegan Spencer, and then 8th grade Colton Nelson and Megan Rick. So it's always fun to recognize students. We had a program during our homeroom where we had all the students watching, and then we recognized those students and to the whole school. So super fun. MCAs, testing has begun. So last week we did the reading MCA test, still finishing up with some students that were gone last week to get them finished with that. Next week we'll be doing our math test, and then first week in May we'll be doing the science test for 8th grade. So MCAs in full motion. Classroom spotlight, it's always kind of fun just to show you what might be going on in one of our classrooms. So this time it's Mr. Evian's science class. So the 6th grade students are studying natural resources. They had a 3-day challenge to design, test, and refine a water wheel. So the goal was to produce the most spins, which equated to energy. So I first learned about this when some students rushed into my office and said, quick, we need duct tape, spoons, and scissors. What's going on? So anyway, went down to the science room, and just so fun to see them all engaged and really just focused and learning and having a good time at the same time. So super fun project by Mr. Evian. And then our whitewater trip. So we've been talking about that and mentioning it, and Jim, of course, is very involved in that. I wanted to give a shout out to our middle school staff that will be on the trip this year. So it's May 3rd through the 5th, and obviously that's a big commitment from our staff to be involved in that. So this year, Mr. Kaplan, Mr. Evian, Mr. Essig, and Miss Boland are all going to be there with the students and the parents. So super excited for that. That planning is in full swing, so but going well.
And I'll just add a little note.
Yes.
Mr. Essig volunteered to go do the training in the next coming, there's a weekend training to do the archery again. So I'm excited that we're going to get that back into our curriculum, but awesome that he was willing to do that. And I commended him for that. And he's like, well, I remember doing it when Mr. Van Beek taught it, and it was a lot of fun. So I want to be able to do that for the students as well. So
Yeah.
Excited to see that as well.
Yes, yes. And out of the 4, 3 of them will be their first time at Whitewater. So yeah, new experience for them. And then I just put on there some things that are coming up at the middle school. So talked about the MCAs, Flex Friday, those classes too. We've started planning what more can we do to make that an interesting experience for our students. So we're working on that. Concert coming up. We've talked about the e-learning day. Our parent team group, we've been talking about an outdoor movie event, which kids are already excited about. Valley Fair, of course, is the tradition for 8th grade. So that's coming up. And then the 8th grade recognition ceremony. I know at different times, some of you have participated in that program. So I wanted to put that on your radar, kind of save the date for that.
So it'll be May 31st at 1:30 in the afternoon. Once we get a little closer to that, I'll send you out an invite again and see if any of you would like to be present and participate in that. And then we're hoping to end our year with, again, the support of the parent team group. Just ending that last day of school right before the students leave for the summer, and ice cream social. So it'll be a fun way to end and something new for our school. So we're excited for that. Yeah. Any questions? Thank you.
You talk about MCAs a third time? It's a prominent piece to what's going on here. Just wanted to take a moment to thank our teachers, our staff, and our students for continuing to do a great job with that and executing that to the best of their abilities. The pictures you'll see on the slide there, and I'm proud of those. On the left, you can tell our freshmen are outdoors in about 41 degrees on a college tour at Winona State in the rain. So in the rain and wind, we had conversations a few days before that on, we're supposed to bring our freshmen on this college tour experience at Southeast Tech and Winona State. The weather doesn't look good. What are we going to do? In typical Triton fashion, we found a way to make it happen, right? The easier thing would be like, you know what, it's the ACT day, it's the testing day. It's easier to have the freshmen stay home. But in conversations with Southeast Tech and Winona State and adjusting schedule and times a little bit, it worked. So proud to offer that experience to our freshmen, a CPR experience for our seniors and senior seminar as well. This all took place on the ACT day of April 4th. And I'm feeling a little bad because I put this presentation together a week or so ago. And a lot of stuff goes on the week before you have a meeting with the board. I'm figuring out that maybe I need to just be a little more patient and wait. But one piece I definitely wanted to mention, a shout out to our band and choir directors and our students on Thursday night. I think a few of you were there, but it was a showcase concert. So our groups that performed, as small and large group performed, and really a great night and a great showcase of all the talent we have here at Triton. So congratulations to our directors and students for that. Going into the end of April and May, it's the staffing piece, right? And with that, making sure the students are signed up for courses and making sure we're good to go there. So we're busy with that. It is officially prom week. So we have prom on Saturday. If anybody is interested, and Christy Faber, a thank you to you for all of your work with prom as our prom coordinator. But correct me if I'm wrong, please. Grand March 3:30.
Yes, doors open at 3 and then it starts at 3:30.
And it's $2 for students and $5 for adults.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. So I want to make sure to invite everybody in for that. Looks to be a balmy high of 42 degrees for our prom this year, but I haven't seen snow on Saturday, so we've had that before too. So it's prom week, so hopefully that will be an enjoyable experience. We talked about May the 9th a few times, so I don't think we need to go through that again, but definitely wanted to remind board of that. Senior activities, we're nearing that time of the year. And when we get together in May, we'll be in the middle of it. So I definitely want to make sure and announce these items here. The academic awards and scholarships there, you can see that in the middle of May. And that's kind of our first event for seniors and families to get things going. It happens on a Wednesday night there. The Academic Pet Fest, we've changed things a little bit. And this will be year 3 of doing it this year. Doing it this way. Before academic awards and scholarships, we used to invite all the underclassmen that won an academic award as well. Now we've pulled those events apart because it got to be extremely long. So, and we'll do that during the school day. We talked about baccalaureate a little bit. That date has been communicated to our seniors and families. Used to be on the Wednesday night of boards. This year, we'll reevaluate when we're done and determine what to do in the future. But as of right now, that's going to be on May the 21st at 3 p.m. here at the school. Seniors' last day on boards, May the 24th, it's coming up, it'll be here soon. Grad practice at 9 in the morning. Jude, 9 in the morning, right? Mark in your calendar. I'm not worried about him. He'll be just fine. But 9 o'clock in the morning on that day. And then as soon as we finish our graduation practice, we do our senior walk through the halls, and is probably, besides the graduation itself and seeing students finish their boards, probably the most enjoyable experience I have throughout the course of the school year. So excited about that, and graduation on June the 4th at 2 p.m. And Michelle, she always does a great job of reminding me, find out who would like to participate in graduation this year. So 3 individuals from the board, if you would like to participate, if you want to just let Mr. Schlichting or I know that you'd like to do that, that would be wonderful to have you there. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Just want to let you know that the athletic training services contract is up. They're asking for a significant increase. The justification for that is that a lot of the things that the trainer does for us are hours that are put in here that we're not currently charged for. I do feel that it's something we need to continue to do. I feel bad for, well, there are some schools that weren't even offered the services next year. So everybody is dealing with this increase and how they're going to address it. But I do feel that in talking with Corey, I'm okay to continue with it as long as we have an understanding that the trainer we have is the trainer we continue with. Because if they change the trainer, I'm not willing to continue with the contract. I think Justin does a lot for our district. A lot of the phone calls and a lot of the things that he does outside of the school day are things that haven't been considered part of the contract in the past, and that's what they're looking at trying to make up for. And what was happening is there was kind of an internal struggle where Justin was putting in the time, but the clinic was saying, well, no, you still need to do X amount of hours to be considered full-time. So they were having him come into the clinic, and to be honest, it wasn't fair to him. So I think that's what this contract reflects. It is charging us for the services that we're getting. So I don't feel that it's unreasonable, and I feel that it's something we should continue, but I did want you to know about that. We did get some quotes. I haven't had a chance to look at them, just some storage quotes. I talked about that at the study session. We walked around with them and just kind of looked at the space that I had talked about and how we could utilize that. And we'll see where that leads, but I'll keep you posted on that. Legislative update. There was an action alert today just to send out, and I did respond to it, but you know, the thing that's, I guess I just want to be clear about, it's great that they're willing to try to increase the funding for education. But the reality is, if they don't take out some of the unfunded mandates, it's going to be a net loss, not a gain. The unemployment insurance and some of the other things that they're looking at having the schools pay for will cost us more than any increase we get. So there's another 5 weeks of the session, but our voices need to continue to be heard, because a lot of the things that they're looking at having us do would cost more than any of the increases they would give us. Redefining Ready wrap up. We're looking at having a meeting to finish off the year with that, and we would have our final report card, and we can bring that back. And again, that just looks at where are we ready, where are we not, and where are areas that we can improve. So finalizing that, we're going to have a meeting here at the end of the year, and that's something we can probably share this summer at a study session. And then lastly, and I don't know if I got to this last, but all of our transcripts are now backed up. So remember, we used to not have backups for anything. They are now all backed up. So all of our transcripts, if that room were to blow up and go away, we still have an online version of backup, so. That took a while to get there, but we are there, and now we can continue with that process and continue to utilize that software to back up other things. Any questions?
The hydroponic thing, that's. You're thinking that's a building?
Yeah, the gentleman came in and looked at the space, thought it was very adequate. There's a couple of little things that we could do that would make it even better. And actually, he had some recommendations that we could be USDA certified. So,
That'd be cool.
yeah, so if we wanted to, we could actually sell it too. But really, the goal is to get started by providing it for our food service. But yeah, all of that's working out well. And continuing to address the storage, and I think we've got a lot of things in the works to make it better for everybody. So, yeah, any other questions?
Thank you, Rick. Any other? Anything else? Want to make a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those, well, okay. I'll just say that.
You just wanted to hammer it.
Thank you. Is Brian still there?
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Yep.
maybe- Oh, right.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.